on out. Please welcome Junar to the stage.
Hi. Search engines are pretty good if you're looking for content, articles, news, but they're not that good if you're looking for data. Have you ever tried to look for data, for facts in the web? I have a good friend. He's a journalist covering the mobile industry. If he goes to Google and does a search to get some facts on the mobile industry, he gets a couple of problems. Number one, he gets a lot of links, and those links may take him to very good content, but not the facts he needs. The second problem is that even if he's able to get to the facts, the best he can do is copy-paste that into his document. Third, data never sleeps. So he will need to go day after day and get the data and put it into his document to keep it updated. There has to be a better way. Let us show you how Junar makes it easy for him to find the data he needs, track that data, and use it as he wants. So here's the solution. He now goes to Junar. He does the same search, and what he gets is a lot of links, results, and these results take him to data directly. These are what we call data streams, and these data streams are tables, are pieces of tables hanging in the web that some people have created, right? Here we can see who created that. We can also check the source. So if this journalist likes what he's seeing, he can add these to his dashboard. Now, here's his dashboard. This is the place where he keeps track of all the data that is going to help him writing this article. He can also check if someone in this Junar community has created any data that he may be able to use. So he goes there, he searches, and he finds out that has created a public dashboard where he shares some information about mobile industry. He adds that to his dashboards. And now it's like if he was following the data that is publishing. In his everyday, he goes to a lot of different sites to gather a lot of data, right? He can go to one of these sites, and by selecting the cell, the column, the row, or the full table, if that is what he wants, he can create a new data stream. Now, he gives a name, a description, and some tags, and voila, here we have a new data stream that anybody in this community can now use. So we have helped him bring a lot of data in, but we also allow him to get a lot of this data out. How? He can send that today to export to Excel. He can even embed one of these data streams into his documents, such that whenever the data changes in the source, it's going to change in the document that he's working on. The other thing that he can do is share this via Facebook, via Twitter. And finally, he can embed this into his blog or into his iGoogle or his NetVibes. So yes, we have been able to help this journalist by gathering a lot of data from different places in the web. We also help him to share this data as he wants, right? And there's another thing here. This has been very useful for a journalist, but it can also be very useful for anybody that is looking for any data. Say, for example, Egypt. You want to get some facts about what happened in Egypt last week, or you want to know some information about what the launch team created about the accelerator's proposal. So there's a lot of things, there are a lot of times when you need data and you can go and find it very easily. If Google and RSS and wikis have changed the way in which we discover content in the web, Junar will change forever how we discover data. Thank you.
I think it's really, really cool. It's sort of a crowdsourced Bloomberg for everything, and not just financial. A lot of companies who make a lot of money off of this are, when you do the crowdsourcing, you're not necessarily, clearing the rights for commercial use. Is this all going to be free, or will you charge for part of the service?
Great question. So we're starting with a freemium model. So a lot of what you've seen is for free. Everything what you've seen is for free. But for some premium services, you're going to need to pay $12.95 a month.
I love the idea. I would just say that from a technical standpoint, I have lots of doubts. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of a platform called OpenDoc, which was pushed by Apple and IBM way back when, same exact vision, didn't work. It's just sort of the messiness of humans and data and how they interact. I wish it worked this way. Best of luck to you, but I see the standards as being the hardest part of this.
Yeah, no, and we have a couple of good gurus, but I agree with you. That's a very tough point we need to work on.
The data sources are essentially static in a lot of places online. So you're depending on them to updating, but in most cases, this data is just reblogged or in some other new report. So there's no way to associate and then re-update any given piece of data. So I think that's a challenge.
So most of our technology does exactly that. We're able to connect. It's like we're creating a database out of all the websites or the tables that exist in websites. And that's where we're really good at detecting when there are changes and being able to bring those changes. We don't store the data of all these places where these creators have created a kind of a data RSS, but we are connected to them and we can know when there's a change and then we can bring it back. So I agree, not all of those are going to be dynamic, but a lot of those are.
Can you talk about the premium features that you want people to pay for? Like what would those be?
Yeah, so a lot of things, in a lot of the cases, people is going to go there and either create new data streams or consume what already exists. Actually, most of the times we're going to consume what already exists. There are some cases where you will need to create some new data streams, and in those cases you might want to ask somebody else to create those for you. So you might say, I need this kind of data, so we are going to have ways of gathering that data and offering that data for this person. I don't know if you want to.
At this stage of the beta launch, we're not really having these premium services. They're going on the roadmap, where we're going to have mashups of data, so you can mix up data you want and have the results. You have new data, new kinds of data. You'll be able, like Diego said, like ask for data to be created for you. And what we solve and what we're trying to really get to the consumer is the time he spends searching on Google either or Bing and just finding the data you need and doing it whatever you want to.
So it definitely seems like a good idea. One thought that I had is when I was doing a lot of sales, and I'm only talking from a tech perspective, a lot of premium data sort of resides with corporations like International Data Corporation, IDC, which is a global organization, research organization. And it seems to be, again, just in the tech world, that's where a lot of the information comes from the Mary Meeker reports and things like that. So I guess as an idea and as maybe a potential revenue stream, have you thought about partnering with some of the IDCs of the world and then extracting some of that super rich premium data for others to use?
Actually, that's a great point. We mentioned one way of getting revenues to the company, but that is actually something that we really like. There's a lot of companies, there's a lot of public data. You might have heard about Factual, about Google doing very interesting things with data sets. So there's a lot of data out there. There's a lot of companies that are charging big amounts of money, selling big reports to, corporations or people that can pay high amounts. But we think that there's a very interesting opportunity for getting to the long tail, some of the data that is contained in these huge reports. If you're an entrepreneur or you want a piece of data, you don't want to pay for a big report. So basically what we are being able to do if we partner with these kind of companies is allow them to cater their information to another sector, right?
Are you guys going to have any expertise in the visualization part? You could see this really becoming consumer friendly if you throw up the Egypt stats on your plasma or the Iraq war stats on your plasma constantly ticking down. Is there going to be work by you guys or by your community on making really cool visualization?
Actually, so the data value chain is big, right? Visualization is a very important piece of this value chain, and we don't think that that's going to be our core competency. There are very interesting companies doing very cool things with data visualization. Actually, Google is doing something very interesting. So we expect more to bring be very good at bringing all this data and allowing users to find this data and share this data if they need to, and partner with companies that are doing already great things in visualization. Of course, we need to be able to offer the users the possibility of centralizing and making it easier for them to check out all these data streams. But then all the graphic part and everything, we might be able to partner with some other people.
Great. I had one question. You showed a lot of data, and I think Mark Pesce has one too. You showed a lot of data there, but you didn't show any interaction between the disparate data sets. And so that's my first question. Can I take statistics from, I don't know, the UN and then mash them up and then republish that with data from, I don't know, the US Census or something? And then second, how do you deal with copyright? You didn't really adequately address that because I know it's a tool, but I mean, data's typically very protected fiercely. And
yep. No, so both good questions. So the first part is whenever someone is creating one of these data streams, they're adding a lot of tags. And those, via all the semantic stuff we're doing, allows us to connect a lot of these data streams. So if you go and look for one data stream, there are some tags that relate this data stream to another or to a dashboard. So by clicking on one tag, you may be routed to other pieces of data that this community has created, right? So we're connecting a lot of these data streams. And the second part, which since the beginning, a lot of our investors told us you should go and check for what's going on there. If we are, we're mapping a lot of the data that exists already in the web, number one. So for that data, we're just linking and we're always offering the source, right? So in that sense, we're covered. And the second part is for the data that we're going to get from our partners, then we're going to, of course, be paying the right for that data, so that's going to be covered as well.
Okay. You had a question?
It seems like you're really setting yourself up almost as the Wikipedia of data, that you have a crowdsourced model. So that means that you're going to have millions of contributors. So I guess my first question is, will you be able to scale for that? And will I, as a contributor, really want to contribute data unless I know that it's being delivered up in a Creative Commons context? In other words, that it's freely shared.
Of course, we need to get all the good incentives for people to become contributors, right? And we have a lot of those in our roadmap. It's part of actually what we think is going to make us get to the market and be able to get a lot of these contributors. Of course, we know that only 1 or 2% of the whole community is going to be contributing to this. And we've already defined which are the incentives that we'll need to give to these people so that they can be really interested in contributing.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Junar.
Thank you.